right, another character I'm not familiar with. Durbin of Illinois, the Senate's number 2 Democrat, won't seek reelection to a 6th term in 2026. So this is Richard Joseph Durbin, American lawyer and politician, serving as the senior United States Senator from the state of Illinois, a seat he has held since 1997 out of East St. Louis, Illinois. That's where he was born. All right, again, not familiar with the dude. And look, Dick is a nickname most often for Richard. And we've had about 4 or 5 stories in the last couple weeks with the name Richard. All right.
Illinois Senator and Minority Whip Dick Durbin made a major announcement just moments ago. He is retiring and not seeking re-election. Let's bring in CBS News correspondent Chanel Call, who's been following this story from our newsroom. Chanel, what else can you tell us about the senator's announcement?
So about an hour ago, 80-year-old Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois sent out this video on X announcing that he will not be seeking re-election. Watch.
The decision of whether to run for re-election has not been easy. I truly love the job of being United States Senator, but in my heart, I know it's time to pass the torch. So I'm announcing today that I will not be seeking re-election at the end of my term. The people of Illinois have honored me with this responsibility longer than anyone elected to the Senate in our state's history. I'm truly grateful.
And this is notable because Durbin has been representing Illinois for more than 4 decades now. He's in his 5th Senate term and is the chamber's number 2 Democrat. This is somebody who is a career politician. He's known for a couple of big accomplishments, helping to ban indoor smoking. He also, by the way, helped shape President Barack Obama's early career. Now, this open seat is going to set up a pretty competitive race in Illinois. The state has grown to be a bit more solidly Democratic in recent years. Republicans have only captured a Senate seat there twice for 6 terms since 1984.
All right. And I ain't gonna lie, I don't know all of the terminology and such with all the Senate positions and their terms and everything. But I do know this. I do know how to make these connections, okay? And look this is easy right here. Look, the Senate's number 2 Democrat won't seek re-election to a 6th term. Look, in the year 26. So you get 2, 6, 2, 6. You see that right there? And there is one thing I know about Illinois, okay? And it is Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. Chicago, Illinois, regarded as probably the greatest NBA basketball player ever, right? Look at Jordan has the Illinois connection, okay? And look at, I do know Jordan equals 26 and 62. Michael Jordan right now is age 62, okay? This guy connected to Illinois. You get that 26 and 62 connection. Other character connected with Illinois. You get the 26, 62 connection, right? And they say that this guy's connected with Obama as well, Barack, and we know the former first lady to Barack Obama, right? Michelle, Michelle is like Michael, right? Obviously, Michelle has that Illinois connection pretty deep, okay? So I thought that was pretty interesting with the 2662. And also look at another connection with Easter. There has been a lot of this going on. There has been a lot of stories connected with Easter. It's the most recent holiday we had last Sunday. Look at this. Durbin 68, 94, and 40, just like Easter, and the guy is trending. All right. The Senate's number 2 Democrat won't seek re-election to a 6th term in 2026, right? 68, 94, and 40. And look at the 40. Again, Durbin's got 40. The 4 keeps landing in a lot of these breakdowns. You just have to watch maybe the last 2 or 3 breakdowns. You're going to see this 40, which is like 4, and it hits again. He is born in 1944. Notice his name, Dick Durbin. D is the 4th letter of the alphabet. So Dick Durbin, 44, born in 44, Democrat, D, the 4th letter of the alphabet. He will not seek re-election in 2026, ending his more than 4-decade career. You see that? Representing Illinois and accelerating a generational shift in Senate Democrat leadership, where he has long held the number 2 position. And we'll get into the guy who's number 1 here coming up. This just hit with the Tina Knowles. She's got this new memoir called Matriarch. All 4s in that breakdown. Okay? Again, Easter landed with the 40. Like 4, Tina 44, Tina Knowles 44, the mother of Beyonce here, right? Don't forget we're in the 4th month. Her birthday on the 4th. You see how Easter syncs up with Beyonce. And her birthday, 9/4, September 4. Easter equals 94. Jay-Z, the 444 album, born on the 4th like Beyonce, but a different month. They got married 4/4. The 40/40 Club connection. Don't forget Blue equals 40, Bayhive equals 40. But my point being, it's the 4 again. Tina Knowles born in 1954. Okay? So look at how the 4 keeps landing. Even Lee Corso to retire after a 4-decade run from College Game Day. See him on the right there. And the FSU connection. Corso even connected with FSU as well. I can't remember if they said he coached there or he played there, but you can go look at that breakdown as well. But we had the FSU shooting, and look at all the 44s connected with that. Okay? So Chuck Schumer. Durbin is part of a Senate leadership team that has been in place for almost 2 decades, alongside the current Senate Democrat leader, New York's Chuck Schumer, age 74. and the late Majority Leader Harry Reid of Nevada, who retired in 2017 and died in 2021. The race for Durbin's number 2 spot is likely to be seen as an early test for who could eventually replace Schumer, as younger members of the caucus have eyed a new generation of leaders. But look at this. So Schumer, number 1, to my knowledge, right? Again, I'm not like 100% with a lot of these characters or what goes down with the Senate. You know what I'm saying? It's like, do we really need all of these positions, right? It's just a big distraction, and to me, it just adds confusion. But I guess Schumer number 1, Durbin number 2, apparently. Look at this. Look at their birthdays are 2 days apart. Durbin, November 21. Schumer, November 23. Look at Joe Biden. He's got the November 20th birthday. So his birthday 1 day after Biden and 2 days before Schumer. And we know Biden connected with the Senate as well. Former president of the United States. I mean, wow, right? As the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee during Democratic President Joe Biden's term, Durbin led the confirmation of Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson in 2022. 22, even 2 plus 2 is 4. He also organized the Democrats' pushback when Trump and Senate Republicans pushed through the confirmation of Justice Amy Coney Barrett in late 2020. 2 plus 2 is 4, right? Of course, Richard Joseph Durbin, like Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., right? You get the Joseph connection. And that's amazing because his name actually is Richard, going by Dick Durbin. I know I mentioned that earlier, but that's amazing. Notice how yesterday, as I record this right now, yesterday, Wednesday, was the 113th day of the year, and that's the day associated with our article. And Richard Joseph Durbin equals 113. Just like politics, BS, and the number for dishonesty. All political related. You even get 311 with his full name and the number for dishonesty. And the 103, again, like politics and BS. Check that out. And it all syncs up with Wednesday, the day of the article. Even Joe Biden equals 44, okay, in the language. And Barack Obama was number 44, the number 44 president. This guy connected to Barack, right? And remember, we had the Michael Jordan connection earlier. Wow, right? That's a big wow right there. Of course, you see the Wednesday right there. Dick Durbin of Illinois said Wednesday he will not seek re-election in 2026. 153 days after his birthday. Okay, so from his birthday to Wednesday, with this article, in between the 2 dates is 152 days. Joe Biden, 152 in the language. Biden out of Pennsylvania, right? Pennsylvania equals 152. To go with the 152 days in between the 2 dates, Durbin's birthday and Wednesday with this trending story. You even get the 64 with Joe Biden in Pennsylvania. Look how Durbin equals 32 in the reduction cipher. What do you think? Fake world? The Ottawa Senators, look at their most recent game in the NHL playoffs. They lose to the Toronto Maple Leafs 3-2 as we get this Senator trending story. Will not seek re-election. Last name equals 32 in the language. Senators pick up the victory, or they lose, 3-2 in their most recent playoff game in the NHL. Notice how the Senators are 4th in the Atlantic Division, and you see how it all comes together with all the fours, don't you? Come on, right? Wow, right? Jeez. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Senators down 0-2 in the series. Toronto up 2-0. Even 2 plus 2 is 4 if you want to do that. But holy crap, right? And Durbin is in his 81st year of life because he's 80 years old. So he's in his 81st year of life. Or you can just say, his upcoming birthday, he turns 81. Look, Dick equals 81 and 18 in the language. Don't forget that 8-1 connects heavily to Biden. President Biden equals 81. He was the president. Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. equals 108, like 18. And there's a few other 81 connections with Biden, but those are a few examples. Wow. Okay. See if I can get this mouse to work.
Senator Dick Durbin will not run for a sixth term. That'll put an open seat on the ballot next year and end a political career of 44 years on Capitol Hill. Your local election headquarters tracks this development tonight.
The people of Illinois have honored me with this responsibility longer than anyone elected to the Senate in our state's history. I'm truly grateful. Right now, the challenges facing our country.
Durbin won his first election to the United States Senate in 1996 after 7 terms in the House of Representatives. He's been the Democratic Party's whip in the Senate since 2005. It's the second highest ranking position among Democrats in the Senate. Durbin will host a news conference tomorrow at his home in Springfield. That's where he announced his run initially for the Senate in 1995. Senator Chuck Grassley responded with a post on social media that he enjoys working with Durbin, saying in part,
"Look at the views, 26.9K.
Always sorry to see him retire from the Senate. Obviously, he's liberal and I'm conservative, yet we have a wonderful working relationship." A statement from the Illinois AFL-CIO says he worked for working class families and underserved populations. On behalf of Illinois' labor movement, the Illinois AFL-CIO wishes him the very best in his well-deserved retirement.
All right, again, you don't have to know about all of these characters. You can learn this code, put in a little bit of practice, and you can break down any of these stories, okay? And these are just stories put out to keep us distracted. I'm trying to use them in a positive way to break them down and show you that they're, this stuff is it's already meant to be by the language, okay? So I'll just scroll down a little bit. That was an amazing connection with their birthdays. Biden, Schumer, and Durbin, all of their birthdays right there bunched together. And they'll probably give us a whole... Durbin was also instrumental in reversing a war on drugs era law that penalized crack cocaine in a 100-to-1 ratio to powder cocaine, a law that disproportionately hit black defendants with long prison terms. The new law was made retroactive, reducing the sentences for those serving time for crack. And they just give us paragraph after paragraph after paragraph. In 2000, Democratic presidential nominee Al Gore considered Durbin for the vice presidency before he chose, look, another Joseph, Senator Joseph Lieberman, of Connecticut, but a few years later, Durbin influenced another presidential candidate when he served as a sounding board for and advisor to Obama, right? And you see right there the 44th president. Look, he's even born on the 4th, Barack of August. You see that right there? You see that? Amazing, right? And look, here's some more 44s here. Carter's retirement at 43 years old. 344 days is the longest in American presidential history. Are they referring to Jimmy Carter? That's interesting because we just hit on the Tina Knowles, mother of Beyonce, and Jay-Z Carter. We just hit on that connection, and that had 44s all over it, connected with this story, right? So Barack's born on the 4th. As well. Wow, right? So that's amazing. Okay, so undeniable connections once again with this story, okay? As I think I had plenty of sleep, but I think I'm going to get more sleep because I have like an 11-hour day today at work. So, a couple of these pre-recorded well in advance, as I like to be ahead of the game like that. So, another Easter connected story by the numbers with all the 4s. A crap load of 4s, some 26s and 62s. Dick Durbin of Illinois, the Senate's number 2 Democrat to Schumer, won't seek re-election to a 6th term, 2-6, in the year 26. Shout out to y'all. Until next time.